Hello YouTube, welcome to the 18th video on the Land Rover Discovery 2 V8 engine rebuild. In this video, I'll go for a little drive, give you a roundup of the project, some of my thoughts on the performance of the car, and the future for this vehicle. Let's go. My impressions of the Discovery. I've never been mad about these cars, looking at them from a non-owner's perspective. I know that JLR products aren't the most reliable things, but I believe these are kind of not so bad. But I believe in having a car for the right purpose. We bought it for towing, and we've now towed a very heavy object, which is coming up in another video. And it is exceptional. The car was fantastic. It achieved nearly 20 mpg, or around 20 mpg, on a long motorway run with 2.3 tons dragging behind it. For off-roading, I'm sure it's equally amazing. But yeah, for towing, it's an outstanding vehicle. And I have grown to love it, just driving around, putting some miles on it. I get it, I really do. I get why people like them, even if you're not going off-road. It is a lovely car to drive, and the V8 especially is the real centrepiece of the vehicle. It's very comfortable, you feel nice and high and great visibility. It is, I get it. So the performance of the car, I did a few bits and pieces to this engine while it was apart. I ported the heads, which I don't think's made a huge difference, but I just did a little bit in there. Maybe you've grabbed a couple of horsepower. I raised the compression ratio quite significantly, and I think that might have had quite an impact. So it's gone from 9.35 up to 10.8, which is no problem because we're on the LPG, and I can see on a little OBD reader when we go onto the gas, the ECU advances the spark quite a bit. And when you go onto petrol, it retards it. It's something like 10 degrees in it, 5 to 10 degrees in it. So it's the LPG is working for that compression ratio, which is nice. The petrol obviously isn't able to make the best of it. Yeah, and what was the last thing I did? Ah, the new camshaft, of course. I didn't do it, but I mean, it's a new camshaft. The old one was worn out, so there would have been, in terms of me and the way I feel in the car, there should have been a performance difference because that old camshaft was so worn. And indeed there is. It feels nice and quick. It feels measurably quicker than it used to be, which is a nice little reward for the rebuild. So yeah, it's performs well. It pulled that trailer very well. We had a combined 4.9 tons, I think, with two of us and the LPG kit, and the trailer and all the rest of it. It was approaching, 5. It was approaching 5 tons, 4.95 tons, and it pulled it beautifully. It was no problem at speed on the motorway. So yeah, there's plenty of performance. There's everything I could possibly wish for to tow with. My older brother and I went to collect the heavy object. We took the trailer, which you'll see in this clip here. We took the trailer, which is rated at 3 tons, to Peterborough, about 175 miles from where I am. And we collected something which weighs 1.9 tons. I didn't know the weight of it at the time, but I had a pretty good idea it was under 2.5 tons. So I knew we were well under the rating of the trailer, so we took it away. And I've subsequently weighed it, yeah, and the whole thing was 2.3 tons, trailer and the thing. So we pulled it back. The Discovery was fantastic, and both me and my brother were not big into 4x4s. I mean, I had a 4x4 when I was younger and used to love ragging it around my parents' property for that job, you know, but driving them around every day, not crazy about it. But me and my brother both really kind of fell in love with the car, and although it's been quite a road now, quite a journey getting it this far, getting it rebuilt. We're sort of around about £4,000 in now, including buying it and rebuilding it. So it does owe us quite a lot, and we could have bought a cheaper one, but of course we know we've got a rebuilt engine, so now we've used it, we really feel like this was the right vehicle for this project. It's a nice V8 which goes well with the project. You'll see later on. And it's a lovely vehicle to drive, and it tows well, and we know we've got a good reliable engine and a cheap to run LPG thing, you know. So yeah, onto that LPG. it was achieving, I mean, with all that weight, with nearly 5 tons train weight, on a cost equivalent, at this point the LPG is about 71p and petrol's about 165 near us. So it was a cost equivalent of between 40 and 45 miles per gallon, which you just can't get with a diesel 4x4. So I'm very pleased about that. Well, here it is, our Discovery 2 V8 now working. 150,000 miles on it, with a brand new engine, refurbished wheels, new tyres, got lots going for it. I've loved driving it. I've really enjoyed using it these last few weeks. It's not a car I'd have chosen to buy normally, but we bought it for towing, and I've fallen in love with it. I get why people like them. I totally get why people like them. One thing I forgot to mention in this video when I was out in the car the other day was about the cooling. I did a load of modifications to the cooling system, fitted that 74-degree thermostat, and did a whole video on it. You might remember. It's fantastic, the cooling. The needle still goes up to the middle and stays there. Of course, most modern vehicles have a very centre-weighted needle. It'll be in the middle, not moving. You know, the temperature gauge won't move from about 70 degrees to about 110 or something. So that's great, really. No change. It looks normal. But the OBD reader will tell me it's sort of settles at about 78, really. Floats around there. And when we were pulling the trailer up a very long, very steep hill, it didn't go above 80, which was absolutely spot on. So that's really perfect. It's not too cold, the engine, like I was worried it might be. It's just where an engine should be. It's perfect, really. So I'm really pleased with that cooling modification. I can highly recommend it to anyone. So next up on the channel, at this point anyway, when I'm making these plans in March, before this video is made and released, I think the next slot will be the Series 3 Land Rover. Back to my friend, my neighbour's Land Rover. After that is the very exciting project which we bought this vehicle for. So while the Discovery won't feature again in a you know, this is the last in the engine rebuild series of videos, there is that project to come, and of course the Discovery is the only thing we've got that can pull it, so it will feature again on the channel, but perhaps not in such great detail as it has in these last 18 videos. I will do a video explaining what that is, and yeah, there's plenty to come. But basically, if you're into cars at all, this is going to be a very exciting project. This is a proper petrol heads project, and I'm making something which there aren't many of them in the country, and we're hoping to get some yeah, to make a business of it eventually. It's very exciting. You stay tuned, guys, and there will be a big reveal after the Series Land Rover project, but I won't go on about it now because I'm not going to tell you any more about it. So for today, that's it. For the Land Rover Discovery V8 engine rebuild series, that's it. I'm going to wrap it up here after video 18, and yeah, make a start on the next stuff, really. It's been thoroughly enjoyable. I really hope you've enjoyed the series. So let's get home.